Bad guys! That thing scares the ever-living shit out of me. Straight across the belly! What if that scared him off? I don't know.
Those things are loud.
Yeah. Oh, they're good. Wait till you're close. Hey, you guys want to like just press the button and just like...
Yeah, you can get the shit out of them.
Hey.
Ready?
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hi GITV, Bob the Axeman Hildebrand here with two amazing gentlemen from BL Tech out of New Zealand, and they have brought a product that I've eagerly been awaiting for a couple years now. Now, why don't you guys introduce yourself to our audience before we go any further?
Hey guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Shane from BL Tech.
How you going?
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, this B.O.S. unit is a bucket full of fun. Recently, you guys went out to Code Red Airsoft Park as well as Mr. Paintball in San Diego, and from what I heard, you surprised the players out there with this pretty well. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you've got heads ducking, you've got people looking around. I think we did the job.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that don't know, this is the B.O.S. unit. That's the Ballistic Ordnance Sound Simulator or Sound System.
Sound system.
System. We've identified it. After 4 years of development, we're working on the name. But that being said, you guys have put a lot of heart and soul into this product. And for those of you out there that don't know, I mean, this does fire propane. It simulates, ballistic ordnance sound on the airsoft field for the gun, and you can change up the rate of fire for this unit as well. But why don't you guys tell our viewers, how you guys got started on this project?
Yeah, I think like any airsoft, like when you go into a gun store for the very first time, I mean, doesn't matter how old you are, you're instantly a kid. Mm-hmm. And when you get a gun, I mean, these things look good, they feel good. But after about 6 months of playing airsoft, we just realized that these things should be sounding good as well. So I think that was definitely the determining factor. Is after 6 months of playing, we enjoyed the sport, but we wanted to take it to that next level.
Mm-hmm. And it does a pretty good job of replicating, what you would hear, like let's say if someone was using blank fire at an airsoft course, at an airsoft event, you get that feeling that some huge action is going off near you. So.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because we haven't actually been around blanks that often.
Mm-hmm.
We had heard them once, and we thought they were pretty loud. But when we actually started using these out in the field, we're getting a lot of comments saying, these are really loud. These are as loud as blanks. And we're going, wow, that's really cool. I think we've made our objective.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and not only do these simulate blanks pretty well, is the fact that this unit right here can hold, you were telling me earlier, on a charge of propane between 2,000 and 8,000 shots.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, a single charge, 10 seconds, like a pistol mag. Yeah, you've got between 2,000 to 8,000 rounds.
Now this also has, you can change the rate of fire on this. So let's say you were telling me earlier, let's say 600 or 800 rounds per minute. You can change it to get as close as possible to matching the actual rate of fire on your gun. Correct?
Correct. Yep.
Now you also have different firing modes on here, like I said earlier, if you want to tone it down to you're saying 50 caliber speed, 600 rounds per minute or lower.
That's cool because we don't want this thing to sound like an Uzi. It's an M4. It needs to sound like an M4. This is all part of the Milton experience that we want with the B.O.S. unit. So, this gun's probably doing at least 1,100 rounds per minute, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't want that. So we can actually dial it down to 800. At Mr. Paintball, we thought we'd just add to the ambience. So we had a couple of these guns running at 800. And then we had my particular gun running at about 600, so it sounded like a 50 cal. You just get that tug, 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 tug. So yeah, lots of variety there with the rate of fire.
Now, another thing that I find really interesting about this is that, with this sound unit on here, it actually changes the psychological effect that it would have on enemy players. Just a regular rifleman running at you, shooting full auto on an airsoft gun, you're going to have one reaction, but, someone shooting full auto with this on there, you're going to have a distinctively different reaction, at least for most players. And from what I heard from some of our staff who are out there, along with Greg Wong and you guys, is that, people would probably be more likely to fall back if you're advancing on them with this unit.
Yeah, to be honest, we've always used them. as you probably could understand. That.
Yeah, of
and
course.
we
Years
haven't
of research.
Yeah, we haven't really appreciated what it's like to be on the other side. What we do know is that when you are actually firing the actual unit, you do get immersed. Like, you know, when you're putting rounds down and it actually sounds like a real gun, you've got the recoil. I mean, it's a tremendous experience. It's you just get so immersed in it, and then yeah, I mean,
But even the players, you know, you don't even have to have a B.O.S. system. The fact that you're in a game that has the B.O.S. system, you're
Yeah.
suddenly taking all that on board as well. It's a great, you know, it changes the immersion, the atmosphere for both the player and the shooter.
Yeah, no, I had originally imagined that, you know, if I had someone with one or two of these on our team and, you know, they were shooting, I would probably be more likely to want to push forward or just, it would get my adrenaline up. And after you guys were telling me, once you start unloading with these, people in front of you were like, move forward, just go.
Yeah, I mean, what we have done, we've actually had 6 units out in the field, and when you play all 6 on the one side, it does sound very intense. And like, you know, when you start pushing, you find that your whole team's pushing behind you. What we have done also is actually put 3 on 3, so you actually have 3 on each side, and that's when it gets really confusing because you just don't know if it's your teammates that are firing, if it's the enemy that's firing, and it just mixes the whole battlefield up. It's pretty cool.
Now, there are a lot of features on this B.O.S. unit, one of which I found particularly interesting is that you need an RFID card to activate this unit. Now, can you tell our viewers why you added that in?
We didn't want to have people abusing it, and it's a brand new product, so I mean, people might want to pick up and, you know, use it or take off with it. Who knows?
Yeah, so like, even the person who bought it, I mean, they might be sensible, mature Airsoft players, but the opportunity for someone else to see that and go, actually, I want that, and then take it,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we want to eliminate. So to be able to, you know, isolate the unit, have it immobilized as soon as you turn the power off, and then have to basically reinitiate it when you turn the power back on again. So, you know, if someone takes it, they don't have the NFC security card, effectively it's deemed as being, you know, useless, immobilized. So every time you do a power up, you have to actually initiate it with the NFC security card. So do you want to go through that? Or?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're just literally going to switch it on. Now powered up. It's given us 2 red lights. So you fire the AEG gun now, it's not going to do anything. We hold the card over it. It's basically accepted it, and now you can go through the programming features, the startup sequence, and it's basically yours to use.
Awesome. Well, in addition to, you know, adjusting fire, the RFID card, I mean, I know you guys are working on like additional features down the line to add into these B.O.S. units, but that's, I mean, of course, going to come after this unit makes it to market.
Oh, that's correct. I mean, we've done a lot of time and money putting into this project to get it to where it is, and you know, we've got to get something back before we can actually keep this project going. So yeah, this one goes out first. We'll see how it goes, and then hopefully, if all goes well, we can then start developing a new product.
No, absolutely. Like, I'm just the fact you guys came out this, like, I'm really excited for anything else you guys have to put out in the future. Now, just for our viewers' sake, I mean, can you at least let them know like a rough release date or even like a rough pricing, even if you can't say anything, you know?
Classified?
No, okay, okay.
No, it's okay. I mean, the purpose to come to the US was to establish a partnership, you know, and without giving too much away, we think we've done that. So, you know, from this point onwards, we have a unit that can be mass produced. It's ready to be mass produced. So I guess it's basically the time between, you know, just setting that partnership up and establishing a supply chain. We should start seeing units hit the US market.
All right. So look forward to it next year?
Well, yeah, definitely next year. Definitely next year.
I hope so. I really hope so.
I was going to see how long you could hold your breath.
I was breathing through my nose, which is difficult in and of itself.
Well, you're doing something.
Yeah.
It's going to drop on the ground here for a second as well.
Yeah, well, I'll leave with this. But that being said, for those of us like myself that would want to save up for one of these, is there a rough number that we should save in our bank accounts?
There is, and you know, some people are going to probably freak out about this, but I mean, if we explain it, it might actually help. We're thinking around about the 600 USD mark. We know it's pretty high, but there's been a lot of R&D gone into this project. It does have a lot of features.
It's governed by the actual product itself, the way that you have to machine it. So you know, and the difference between working and not working, you know, is quite a challenge.
Yeah.
So in order to be able to maintain that, you've got to go through, high precision
all high
engineering.
spec,
So it's high spec, yeah.
Now, I think also it is pretty good to provide context. So for those folks that want to go out and use blank fire at an event, you're going to have to get a rifle, you're going to have to
Correct,
get
yeah.
a blank fire adapter, a lot of different things.
License.
A license, but and not on top of that, the ammunition for the gun itself.
Correct.
And those are costs that you're going to continually have. Whereas, if you say spend $600, or even if the price gets lowered a little bit, this is a one-time cost, and then propane is cheap, propane is what you're going to fill this up with. So I mean, to get 2,000 to 8,000 shots out of a unit, where you're only going to have a one-time operating cost.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, it's like buying a brand new car and not having worried about paying for gas. I mean, you just run it.
Yeah.
Yeah, gas is not a problem. It's as cheap as.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to seeing a lot more of these out at Milsim events. I mean, obviously, people can't just walk around just like any airsoft gun. They can't just use these anywhere they please. But at indoor courses, at outdoor courses like at Mr. Paintball, I mean, I think this is really going to add a lot to the game and make people feel a lot more like they're in their favorite movie or favorite video game.
We hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, that's exactly why we made it.
Yeah. I mean, we're airsofters first and foremost, and this is the reason why we did that. So we understand that, from a product point of view, it's about basically bringing the level of experience in an airsoft game to that next level. So we hope it's going to do that.
Well, I think you guys have a product that will do that. And I think it's really cool too that you guys aren't like some huge corporation. You guys are, for those of you guys who don't know, these are brothers. These are identical twin brothers, or as close to identical twin as you can get, as the joke you made earlier.
But identical?
Yes, semi-identical. But yeah, I mean, you guys aren't like a huge corporation. You're you're two brothers working together to try and improve the sport and make it more immersive and more interesting. So
I guess we've been surrounded by some really awesome people. This product wouldn't be a reality if it wasn't for those people around us. Also the community. I mean, it obviously relied heavily on the airsoft community, their feedback as to whether or not we actually were even going to continue with this product. So having all that feedback when we did the Cringe Factor very first video that we did, having all that feedback just said, right, there's a product here, there's a market here, so let's push into it and see what we can do. And this is where we are today, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out and being with us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you letting me keep this thing for myself. No, just kidding. But yeah, thanks for coming out. Thank you for showing us this. Thanks for visiting the U.S. And I am just so excited to see more players' reactions to this product. So
Thank you,
anyway.
Airsoft GI.
Oh, absolutely. And make sure to stay tuned to Airsoft GI, all of our social media, because we're going to track the progress of this product as it comes to market, and I can't wait to see more news out about this soon. Once again, I'm Bob the Axeman Hildebrand, and this is GI TV. I'm totally leaving with this. Now, one question we here at Airsoft GI get asked a lot is, what is the best gun? And the answer is, there is no best gun. It's honestly what's best for you as a player. Now, if you're just getting an airsoft, don't forget to save money in your budget for necessities such as eye protection, BBs, or a battery and a charger if the gun you're buying doesn't come with one. The real firearm Dan Wesson 715 is a modernization of the classic Model 15 Dan Wesson revolver. Now, the blueprints and dimensions have been provided to Action Sport Games by Dan Wesson themselves to create a very faithful replica airsoft pistol.